Howdy glowworms. This episode is going to be on the more chill side because I am kind of a sleepy gal right now. And it's kind of a weird one because I had one episode planned for this week, but my plans kind of fell through. So I this is going to be a little bit different, a little bit more of just like a talky one. But I originally was planning actually to talk about having yet another facial done. I was planning to get a facial done a few days ago, but basically the gist of it is it took me forever to get to this place, and I ended up being 15 minutes late, and they said that they couldn't take me anymore. And I was so pissed. I was like, you have got to be kidding me. Like, it took me so long to get here. Like, this was like really my only plans for the day. There were so many other things I could have done with my day. And they were like, well, we can reschedule. And I was like, no, like, you're only open during the week. So I'd have to take a day off of work to come here and just to like get a facial. And the only reason that I was going to go to that place was because I had a gift certificate for my birthday. And I told them that. I was like, yes, this was a birthday gift, which makes it like even worse that you're being like, kind of ridiculous about me being 15 minutes late. I was like, you can literally like just like squeeze me in, just like don't do one part of the facial or whatever. But I guess they couldn't. Who knows what they had in store for me. But I was like, I just got a facial like last month. So like, it's, like it's not really a loss for me. I'm like, if anything, if anybody ever asks for like recommendations for where to go, I won't recommend your office. And I say office because it was at a dermatologist's office. Actually, it wasn't at like a spa or anything like that, which I would normally actually go to a spa. Why? Well, I heard somebody say this a couple years ago, and I realized that they were so correct in that when you go to a dermatologist office, like their training is for really treating like specific medical conditions, right? Like you go there to treat your eczema, you go there to treat maybe a skin tag, or to check if you have like skin cancer or something like that, right? So generally, like day-to-day operations of a dermatologist office are not just like doing facials, doing aesthetic treatments like that. That's what generally an esthetician does all day. Or, if you go to a spa, somebody who works at a spa, they do that day in and day out. And so I heard somebody say that it's actually better to just go to like a spa or a place where they're just doing facials and stuff all the time. Or if you want Botox, go to a place where they just do Botox day in, day out, because they do it so much. Like they know, all the like different cases. They know, they have just like a better idea of what you as an individual will need because they see this constantly. They're doing this constantly. You want to get Botox done and you want it to be like subtle and well done, go to a person who is really good at just doing subtle Botox day in, day out. Somebody who does this constantly, because your dermatologist is going to generally know how to do it, and they're knowledgeable in, the actual science behind it and everything. They know what they're doing, but they might not do it quite as artfully, let's say, as somebody who's just doing this, like 10 times a day, somebody who's doing these injections all the time, or somebody who's doing a facial, multiple times a day, that, they might think of like, oh, well, like this precise kind of treatment or serum or whatever I know is going to be really, really good for somebody whose skin looks like yours, and they might be able to better guide you through that and maybe give some more product recommendations that are like over the counter versus buying the super expensive stuff that they sell at a spa or at a dermatologist's office, you know? So just a thought. So I was like pissed about wasting my time, but I actually wasn't really I wasn't really butthurt about not getting another facial done. I was like, I mean, I just got one done. I already take good care of my skin, and I honestly wouldn't normally have even gone to a dermatologist's office for an aesthetic treatment like that. Of course, for something that's, you know, more serious, you know, like if I had like psoriasis or like, I'm gonna go to the dermatologist. Like, I'm gonna have an actual doctor with a medical degree take a look at that. But yeah, if I just want to like have like a facial massage done and maybe some extractions, I can do that with an esthetician. I can do that. I can do that somewhere else. So yeah, in the end, just like mildly annoyed, and also like mildly annoyed that I didn't get to do another episode on sort of like treatments and tweakments and stuff, because I was hoping to get a slightly different kind of facial done there. I think it was like an oxygen facial that I was supposed to get done. And that would have been a little bit different from what I got done last time. So slightly disappointed, but I am thinking now, like, I'm just gonna go to a place closer to me here in West Hollywood. There's a million places to go for all kinds of, you know, treatments and tweakments, of course, and all kinds of facials. There's, you know, laser facials, oxygen facials. I want to sometime soon try preventative Botox. So I'm hoping to maybe find a place that I can go to for all of those things, and I can just like commit to going to one place, and they'll like know me, they'll know my skin, they'll have me on file, and I think that would be better than me popping around to different places throughout the LA County area to get different things done. And then every time I have to, you know, maybe explain to them what I regularly do, and you know, that's a whole thing. So all that being said, that's, yeah, I'm pivoting this week. I'm instead going to talk about what I was going to talk about next week, which I feel like it's like some, like in my head, it's connected anyway. And that is, as you see from the title, that I don't have perfect skin, and that's okay. And it's, you know, part of the reason that I, of course, want to explore some of these treatments and tweakments. I want to sort of start with like what I think is an apt metaphor, and that is that when you, if and when you want to lose weight, you wouldn't ask somebody who's been relatively or very thin all their lives how to lose weight. Like, you shouldn't ask somebody who's never gained weight in their life, like, how like, what is their secret to staying thin? Because the secret is genetics. Like, they don't have advice for you, you know? If they're like, I've always been active, it's like, okay, well, yeah, that's worked for you, and you haven't had to change anything about your diet or exercise. So they aren't gonna have good advice for you. And yeah, that has happened to me. I've like been a smaller person throughout my life, and people ask me, oh, like, what's the secret or something? And I'm like, there's no secret. This is genetics. My mom was rail thin in her 20s, and it follows that I would also be relatively thin in my 20s, especially because I haven't had kids or anything, and I eat like a pretty balanced-ish diet, you know. I don't really eat anything too crazy, and I've never like been on a diet or anything. I've really just stayed consistent in what I eat throughout my life, and I consistently, you know, like move and walk everywhere and stuff. So it's like don't ask me for advice on how to lose weight. I don't have it for you because I've never tried to actively like lose, 20, 30 pounds. Like that's not a thing I've done. So I don't know how to help you. But then skincare, my skin has not been, quote unquote perfect for my entire life. It's been in multiple different states, and while I'm not a dermatologist and I'm not an esthetician, though I've thought about getting my esthetician license, while I don't have like sort of the book smarts on things, I have my anecdotal experiences, and I've got way too many articles read and products tried and videos watched and everything under my belt. And I talked to a lot of people about their skincare routines and their experiences, and that's kind of part of the reason why I wanted to start this podcast, because it's like if you go to somebody who's always had perfect skin and ask them what their secret is, they're gonna tell you some craziness like, oh, I just put coconut oil on my face every night. And you know what that does to people who don't have perfect skin? It makes them break out like crazy. That's like, like I love when it's like some famous person does a skincare routine for like Vogue or something, and it's like, what do you do? And like I've seen the craziest things, like Bella Thorne being like, oh, I just have this, like, I think she just had a mix of like olive oil and apple cider vinegar and salt or something, and she would like just rub that on her face every night, and like that was her quote unquote secret. And I was like, yeah, no, if I tried doing that, my skin would freak out so bad within about, not even, I wouldn't even give it overnight. I'd give it maybe an hour before my skin started to like feel weird and be like, this is wrong. It would probably be so irritated. There was like a model who I saw, and she like did a sheet mask, the ones that come in like a packet. You unfold it, you put it on your skin for like 10-15 minutes. And then, I mean, you're supposed to do that like after you cleanse your skin and before you put on moisturizer. I think she washed her face, did that, and then rinsed off the serum from the sheet mask. And then like that was her routine. And I was like, this is why you can't be asking people who have perfect skin what their routine is. You have to ask somebody who like they have like one zit, like, and it's like, oh, like, do you usually break out? And they're like, yeah, but like I started doing this extensive skincare routine. It's like, that's the person who knows what's up, because they're not gonna tell you some silly advice like, I've just put castor oil all over my face my entire life. It works. And it's like, that's not going to work for everyone. It's going to work for a small subset of people, but most people that's just not it. And so yeah, I wanted to sort of say that and reflect on it a little bit. I definitely I've already spoken a lot on here about how everybody's skincare journey is their own. And how, just because something works for one person, that does not mean that it's going to work for everyone. And it doesn't, just because something worked for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you. But I like to try to explain why I do things as much as I explain what I did, so that it's like not just, hey, I like to put this moisturizer on because it moisturizes my face, because that's pretty obvious. I like to say, oh, I've been using this specific moisturizer because it's on the thinner side, and right now it's really hot in LA, and I don't need a super thick moisturizer. My skin isn't, like, naturally isn't super dry, and it's super hot right now, so I've just been using something thin just to make sure my skin doesn't become super dry. Boom. That's way more of an explanation than just, I use a thin moisturizer. Because there could be other reasons that someone would do that. Like, if it's fall or spring and you have super oily skin, that moisturizer might be perfect for you. But in the middle of summer, if you have really oily skin, you might literally not want to like, you might basically want to not use any moisturizer or use something like super duper thin. You might just use like a milky toner as your moisturizer. And I would respect that. I'd be like, yeah, that sounds about right, because once that heat kicks in and you're already really oily, the last thing you want is to have like oil and moisturizer like all over your face, just make you into like this like slippery seal situation. But I wanted to basically just like point that out this week. My skin isn't perfect. I do still benefit from doing things like getting a facial. And I am gonna like continue to sort of explore more of the like crazy things, more of the out there things as time goes on. I'm trying to start small, and see how my skin likes things. My skin, I like right after I got that first facial, I like made that episode, but I do want to say that like even a week later, my skin still like looked really nice. Like looked like it really benefited from that treatment. And I think I said before that that was like really like an every 6 months thing, but I think even for me, like somebody who really likes to like do a full skincare routine every night, like I think I'd even go as far as to do that kind of treatment every like 2 or 3 months, just cause like not like the craziest facial every 2 or 3 months, but I'm thinking like, yeah, if I just got like a basic one like at the start of every season, for example, like that could be cute. That might be a thing. And that's like more of like a treat yourself kind of thing than a necessity. But yeah, like since my skin does still like deal with breakouts and dark spots and redness every once in a while, which by the way, like I am a woman of color, but I do still get redness. I once had somebody, which this is a crazy thing to say to anyone, but somebody once was like, "You're black, like there's no way you get redness." Redness is dependent on how light your skin is, not on your race. Don't know who needs to hear that, but like fun fact, yeah, when I don't have much of a tan going, you can clearly see any redness in my face. Like like I can blush technically. When I'm like at my palest, like you can see it. It's just once I have a tan, you can't see that stuff as much, and that I think basically follows for everyone darker than me. It's like, hey, they still can have redness. It's just you can't see it because their skin tone is darker. Like, duh, like, is that not obvious? So yeah, like I still deal with things like that, and I have like very reactive skin. So yeah, just I want to like going forward, I'm still learning about things that like my skin likes and dislikes, and like I still want to like try different things and come back and sort of report like at least my experiences on things, even if I can't give you like the full medical scientific breakdown of like every single thing. And I definitely mentioned before in my treatments and tweakments episodes, some of the things that I'm like definitely not gonna get. Like I'm still not gonna ever try like cool sculpting. And yeah, I guess there's like other things that, I'm probably not gonna try. I can't think of them right now. But like other things that I'm like, yeah, I will not be doing that. But like I do eventually want to be super bougie and maybe like go get like super bougie like facials done and stuff, and like go to a spa and like try things that I wouldn't normally try, or like, someday like go to maybe like a hot spring or something and see how that is. Because I think I can still benefit from those things, even though I'm happy with where my skin is at. Like, I recognize it's never going to be like quote unquote perfect. Like, my skin will always have like little things here and there. Like, I do have like, like tiny, like really small, sort of like scars and stuff, like box scars and stuff, from past really bad breakouts. Like I still like have like little imperfections, but like those don't bother me, you know? It's just like a part of my face. Like and I like it's like fine, you know? It's just like not something to beat myself up over. um and yeah, I hope that generally people know that. I know it's like hard, but I think it's becoming more and more normalized very slowly but surely. It's becoming more and more normalized to just like not have super perfect skin. Especially in this like age of like filtering everything. Like I try not to use filters personally just because like I don't like there's something really terrible about removing a filter and like starting to nitpick about a bunch of things that previously you didn't even notice. And I like to be realistic about what my skin looks like, because I don't want people to think like if they follow everything I do, they're gonna like magically have perfect glass skin, and it's like that's not real. Like that's just not realistic. Very few people have like super like porcelain, like smooth, zero imperfections kind of skin. Like that's like just not realistic because like we're human beings and like we have pores and like we have like hair growing on our face even if it's really fine, and like that can like cause things to happen, and we have stressors in our lives that make us break out, and sometimes we, you know, maybe have not the best diet or we drink a little too much alcohol and those things come out in your skin. But like what are you going to do? Stop living your life? Like just move to an island and like meditate every day and try to just like be the most zen, unbothered, like healthy person ever just for the sake of having perfect skin? No, that's insane. I would never do that. I think my like 10-step skincare routine is sacrifice enough. I think that's enough. And if my skin wants to freak out every once in a while, even with that, I'm just gonna have to accept it. So so yeah, that's really all I wanted to say this week. Is yeah, trust your dermatologist, but if you want to get Botox done, maybe go to a place that does Botox all the time. And also, it's okay to not have super perfect skin. And I'm okay. Like I have like really gotten to like a much more peaceful place with my own skin. It's been a journey. And like I feel like I did everything I could possibly do within reason to get my skin to where it is now, and I'm like, that's good. Like after that, like you know, no one can try to be like, go wash your face or like whatever, like just because I have a zit, you know. It's like, hey, I did all I could, like fight me, like don't. And like I think we all know this too, but like you see your own flaws and imperfections so much more than other people ever will. Like nobody is like nitpicking your face nearly as much as you are. Like, and anybody who does, I'm like, you're weird. Like please leave me alone. Like what is your problem? Because who out here has time for that? Who has time like that? I'm like, please get a hobby like that isn't nitpicking my face, because like why are you more focused on my face than I am right now? Anyways, that's all I really wanted to say. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks for coming on this little journey with me, and I hope you enjoyed this much more laid back, sort of wandering episode. And I will talk to y'all later. Thanks again. Bye.